Good morning. Welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. I'm Krista Yoakum, currently the chair of the board here. To my right is Commissioner Roma Amundson, to my left, Commissioner Rick Vest, and to my far left, Commissioner Matt Schulte. Will you please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you can start when you're ready with the location announcement.
Location announcement of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located at the wall of the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. These materials can also be viewed at the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. That brings us to item 1, minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on June 6, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Abstain.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 with an abstention. Item 2, claims. 2A, approval of the claims processed through June 13th, 2023.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 2B, approval of a claim to the Indian Center Incorporated in the amount of $1,665.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claim to the Indian Center. Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yoakum.
I'll abstain as my husband serves on their nonprofit board.
Motion carries 3-0 with an abstention. Item 2C, approval of a claim to the Mediation Center in the amount of $14,450.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claim to the Mediation Center. Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Abstain.
Yoakum.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 with an abstention. Item 2D, approval of a claim to the Rabble Mill in the amount of $4,882.47.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Great minds.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 3, consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there is an exception, these items will be approved as one single vote at the Board of Commissioners. These items are the approval of A, amendment to the following county contract C-19-0236 with Celebrite Incorporated to revise the product list for the Universal Forensic Extraction Drive SS144. B, received and placed in file Records and Information Management May 2023 report.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next item is a special presentation, the Commissioner's Award of Excellence for April 2023 to Jacqueline Jepson, Records and Information Management in the category of Productivity. And Commissioners, I have the letter that I'll go ahead and read.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Jepson, Imaging Clerk with Lancaster County Records Management, has been selected as the Commissioner's Award of Excellence winner for April 2023. Jepson has worked for Lancaster County for 1 year. She was nominated by Brian Pillard, the category of Productivity. In his nomination, Pillard states, Records and Information Management is a relatively small department having 6 full-time equivalent employees. In 2021, one of our longtime employees unexpectedly passed away. We're also planning for another longtime employee to leave our department due to retirement. Jacqueline was hired in August 2021 as a temporary imaging clerk to help with this difficult transition. Right from the start, Jacqueline's attitude was always one of being willing to help whenever needed. Immediately upon starting her temporary role, Jacqueline learned all of our scanning products quickly and set up the projects and workflows to maximize speed and accuracy. She also improved our processes and helped train others regarding the details of our many disparate scanning projects. One example is for a particular project. Jacqueline set up a schedule and deadline as boxes came to us for scanning so that we all knew when we received the records, who was assigned to scan it, and when it was due to be completed. After our hire, the department also experienced turnover in contract staff to assist with the scanning. Jacqueline took on the role of trainer by training them in how to manage their assigned projects and how to do quality control of the scanned images, and she spent time training them on our scanning equipment and software settings. In July of 2022, Jacqueline transitioned out of her role as an imaging clerk and into her current role as an imaging specialist. When our new imaging clerk was hired, Jacqueline stepped up to provide training. Having just been in the role of imaging clerk, Jacqueline was able to shorten the new team members' learning curve by teaching and demonstrating the most efficient ways to prep, scan, and perform quality control. While doing this training, she always kept up on her own production work. Thanks to Jacqueline's willingness to stay with the county as a temporary employee, we have now the benefit of her ongoing productivity, positive attitude, and can-do spirit as a permanent employee. For these reasons, we are pleased to award Jepson with the Commissioner's Award of Excellence for the month of April 2023.
I'm Brian Pillard, nominated Jacqueline, and you read from my nomination the specifics of why she's deserving of this, but I just also want to point out there's also the intangibles part of an employee, and Jacqueline is also exceptional and excels in that area. When we're talking about the best thing to do for the departments that we serve, she has that attitude to do what is best overall instead of trying to take any shortcuts, and she has very committed attitude towards customer service and getting the work done in the best way possible. So in addition to the specifics, there's that intangible attitude of being a very good worker, and the county and the departments for which we work and provide services are very lucky that she's a county employee.
Well, Jacqueline, you have certainly distinguished yourself by your work ethic, by your can-do attitude, and by your initiative in creating many smooth lines of work. And so I tell you what, we are so fortunate to have you. He's fortunate to have you. In fact, the whole department. So, but you know, when you consider that you started out as temporary and then you were transitioned over to full-time, we're very glad that you decided to do that. Thank you for staying with the county, and we look forward to seeing more work from you.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Do you care to say a few words?
Well, I didn't know that I was going to have to till I walked over here.
We're glad to hear from you.
I just want to say thank you, and it's easy to be successful at your job when you like it. You have a team that's supportive and a boss you can trust. That's it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you certainly for your good effort there, and thank you, Brian, for bringing this to our attention so we had the opportunity to learn about the good work you're doing as well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next item on the agenda is new business. Item 5A, resolution in the matter certifying the proper completion of County Bridge E-171 pursuant to the County Bridge Match Program Agreement.
Good morning, Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. Bridge E-171 is located on Bluff Road, just a little bit north and east of the village of Melcombe. This is the certification that we have completed this. When we participate in the County Bridge Match Program, per the agreement that we execute, we get 80% of that funding when we bid the structure, and then we get the remaining 20% when we certify that it's complete. And so this bridge we opened a little while ago, but it didn't rain this spring, so it took us a while to get grass growing and other things around it. So we're happy to bring this certification and one more new bridge.
We're glad to see this come to an end.
Congratulations, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 5B is the contract with JMN Construction LLC to provide repairs to County Bridge N96. The cost of the county is not to exceed $198,269.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This bridge, which is located just a little south of Denton Road, has a very bad deck, and so this is part of our annual maintenance program to maintain these bridges. In this case, the bridge is sound enough that we can do deck rehab to it and make the deck sturdy and have this bridge last another 20 years. So it's significant, and this is what I bring before you.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5C, recommendation from County Engineering to award a bid to Tim Cisco Construction LLC for culvert maintenance 2023 Phase 2 in the amount of $677,747.80.
Pam Dingley, Lancaster County Engineer. This is what we would casually refer to in our office as County Culverts Phase 2. Project 2321 will replace numerous culverts around Lancaster County. I should probably give a little push on the overhead. Mostly in the southern portion of Lancaster County, but we did end up with one emergency one up in the northern part. In this case, this job is about $150,000 under what our estimate was. So we're happy to see some correction happening in the construction inflation that we've been experiencing the last couple of years.
Move approval.
Second.
Appreciate you working that one in. I know that was unexpected. That wasn't part of the plan originally, but I appreciate you adapting and working it in.
Welcome.
Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5D, recommendation from County Engineering to award a bid to Pavers Incorporated for North 98th Street, Adams Street to Holder Street, grading and paving in the amount of $1,234,917.73.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. And so this is the infamous stretch of 98th Street from Adams to Holdridge that has an excessive amount of traffic on it and has definitely impacted the lives of the citizens who live on it. Last year, we heard a lot about it at the 1 and 6. I committed to getting the grading out for this project and done this year. Unfortunately, with the Biden administration's declaration of the northern long-eared brown bat as an endangered species, we were not able to move any trees in this corridor after April 1st. And quite frankly, from April 1st until November 1st. And so that did put a little bit of a damper on us being able to grade this project this summer. However, we did go ahead and do a little extra design to it so that we can deliver this project next spring and with grading and paving. And so what that means is when it gets to be November 1st, we're gonna go through that corridor and clear the trees that we need to clear so that that is not an issue for us and get this road graded and paved. I will also add that the engineer's estimate for this project was $2.1 million. $2.1 million. So this is significantly under budget, and we're really excited to be able to bring this project to the citizens of Lancaster County. This will make a major difference to the quality of life that people live in this corridor.
Great response, Pam.
Yeah, move approval.
Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. This is two projects in a row under budget. I don't want to say it out loud and jinx it, but this is
be
good
careful.
news. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5E, Contract with Bauer Underground Incorporated for installation of broadband conduit in Lancaster County's southeast, northeast, and northwest quadrants. The final completion date is April 30th, 2024, and the cost of the county is not to exceed $7,087,767.36.
Good morning. Abby Ecker, Chief Information Officer. I'm very excited to bring this contract to you. This is really the remaining 3 quadrants of our system. I'm here to answer any questions.
We're glad to see this.
Yeah, we're glad to see that.
I move approval.
Yeah, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just have a question. So I see the completion date of April 30th. We've always talked about this in like 4 phases. So is this, each phase won't have a due date? It's just, this is the whole project is April 30th. Is that correct?
So excellent question. So that is the date for this contract. But so if this contract were to be approved today, we would go into, ideally next week, we're looking at scheduling for a pre-construction meeting. That's where we would have the project breakdowns. And so any efficiencies we're able to gain in terms of the teams we deploy, if we're able to do multiple quadrants I guess, together,
Simultaneously. Yeah.
right, that's what would really determine those specific dates. So we can provide those dates at a later time.
I guess another question about this completion date. So does that, I mean, if a quadrant is complete, I mean, at what point can someone start dropping fiber into the line? Does that mean nothing can be done until April 30th next year? Could some company, do a portion, once the conduit's in place? Do we know that?
So I can share a bit more information. I need to research that one a little bit, just
Okay.
because it really depends on what the situation is with, like, I guess, what that provider is doing.
Yeah.
But happy to research that and provide more information.
Okay. Like I said, I mean, I'm going to support this, and we're moving forward. I just had those are a couple questions that had come to mind as I was reviewing this. So thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
I can offer a perspective on that, in our discussions, there was a reason why we didn't start in the northeast quadrant. There was a drive to start in the southwest quadrant because some providers have contracts to provide fiber to some of the communities in that district. I'm assuming that they're going to be going in as soon as the opportunity presents itself. I'm not a fiber expert here, but this was my recollection. I'm guessing your research will show that once certain portions are completed, they're going to be putting the fiber in so they can get to the customers in these districts. But I wouldn't guarantee
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I wouldn't bet
They
any
have those
money on
Public
it.
Service Commission.
There's definitely a push on the residential side for some of the grants that have come out. You're absolutely correct. In the southwest quadrant, where basically you have a couple of communities where that funding is targeted, and so that is absolutely possible. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Don's nodding his head.
Yeah,
so
I
feel
was-
better
I was
all
saying,
the way
where's my
through.
experts back there? I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank
So-
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please
Yeah.
call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Very good.
Item 5F is an agricultural lease agreement with Jake McQuillan of Lincoln, Nebraska to use 13.92 acres of agricultural land for 3 years. Mr. McQuillan will pay the county $100 per acre for the first year, $110 per acre for the second year, and $150 per acre for the third year.
Good morning, Commissioners. Karen Peterson, Director of Facilities and Property. This is a parcel that actually you've owned for quite a while. We had the same person farming this for a number of years, and he's no longer able to do so. And in fact, the land really hasn't been farmed in a couple of years now, so we've got a lot of weeds and just needs a little bit of help. The idea of the staggered rent structure is to bring that piece of land up so that it's actually profitable for the gentleman that's farming it. So that's why the lease rates are staggered that way. And this, based on the revenue that we're getting, is not going to quite cover the property taxes this year, but we're moving forward in that direction. Once he becomes profitable, we'll be able to resume that kind of an arrangement.
Okay.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 5G, an application for reimbursement for the Nebraska Department of Environmental Quality for the remediation action taken concerning underground storage tanks and petroleum release at the Lancaster Patrol Station, 14775 5th Street, Raymond. The reimbursement amount is $26,101.69. We'll go to the county's contractor, RA Environmental Incorporated.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. Over the last several years, I've come before you many times to talk about the environmental contamination in the area of our Raymond shop. We continue to have dramatic concerns about that. It is an action by the Department of Environment and Energy. We are following the protocol that they mandate for us. We're in the phase where 100% of the effort we are putting out for the consultant is reimbursable. What I will say is that the fuel in this area, the petroleum product that is floating on the surface of the water table, even though we have pumped a significant amount of product off of the water table, it continues to return. And so I don't really know what happened in this area. It happened probably before I was born. However, that being said, we are continuing to follow the process as directed, and I will continue to update you as I have information. All other information on this reporting, should you be interested in doing the research on it, is on the DEE website and attached to their GIS map.
It's a big job.
Second.
Yeah, it's definitely been a big job and certainly a persistent issue
Oh, yeah.
and a great concern.
That's really tough.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5H, agreement with Mental Health Association Nebraska for professional services related to peer-guided personal well-being and relapse of negative mental health issues and/or substance abuse prevention classes for inmates at the Lancaster County Jail. The cost of the county shall not exceed $15,600.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5I, contract with Summit Fire Protection Company to provide the annual service for fire extinguisher inspection, testing, and maintenance. The cost of the county is not to exceed $10,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5J, contract with Safety Clean Systems to provide the annual service for parts, washing services, recycling solvent. The cost of the county is not to exceed $500.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 5K is contracts with the following to provide the annual service of weed abatement and mowing for the county weed authority. The cost of the county is not to exceed $40,000 for all contracts. They're with Beatrice Lawn Care Incorporated, Gary's Lawn and Landscape, Hauser Incorporated doing business as Lee's Lawn Maintenance, and Mr. Yards and More LLC.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 5L, contracts with the following to provide the annual service of noxious weed spraying / mowing. The cost of the county is not to exceed $20,000 for all contracts. They are with Beatrice Lawn Care Incorporated, Gary's Lawn and Landscape, Hauser Incorporated doing business as Lee's Lawn Maintenance, and Mr. Yards and More LLC.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next item I have is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items related to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Bohr, concerned and watchful Lancaster County citizen. I'm looking at a wage and benefit package that I believe you set for yourselves. It's a very nice package. I don't know how many hours you all put in. I'm sure some put in more than others. But let's say you put 10 hours in a week. That's $97 an hour plus benefits. And those benefits are both insurance, health insurance benefits and pension benefits. If you're putting in 15 hours a week, you're making $64 an hour plus benefits. I don't suppose any of you who were serving during the COVID crisis suffered any loss of wages or benefits like people in the private sector did. No, of course you didn't, because you're more important than those people. There's only one problem. You're not more important than those people. You just think you are. The fact is, all men are created equal, and you failed to protect your fellow citizens whom you swore to protect. Governments are instituted. For what reason? To protect the rights of the people, not to take them away. As you and the communist upstairs in the mayor's office did during the tyrannical COVID scam with all of its idiotic face diapering and antisocial distancing mandates that turned everyone into a disease vector and the very air we breathe into a ubiquitous hazardous zone. How absurd and utterly evil. It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone, not just you. Moving on to elections. Our Constitution declares that there should be no hindrance or impediment to the right of a qualified voter or to the right of all qualified voters to exercise the elective franchise. It doesn't say there should be no hindrance or impediment to the right of a secret private voting machine vendor to exercise the elective franchise for us by counting our votes for us using secret, unauditable software. Let me repeat that. It doesn't say, our Constitution doesn't say that there should be no hindrance or impediment to the right of a secret private voting machine vendor to exercise the elective franchise on our behalf by counting our votes using secret, unauditable software. There should be every hindrance and impediment to such a thing. Our lazy, corrupt Secretary of State has completely sold us out. And I believe that you are oblivious to it, and I am praying that your eyes be enlightened, that your heart be open and your mind enlightened. Otherwise, you have sold us out as well. State statute outlaws electronic voting systems. Our SOS gets around that law by using paper ballots. But those ballots mean nothing when voters aren't allowed to get their hands on them or to verify results in any way. Of course, you love those machines because that's why you're sitting here. You were elected by them. I don't know if you were elected by the people. We don't know. We can't say you were or you weren't because it's impossible for us to verify elections because there's no transparency in the process. And that's on purpose. There's only one reason for that. They are cheating. Never mind the right of the electorate to a transparent and verifiable elective franchise. I have two quick stories. Benny Smith, Election County Commissioner in Shelby County, Tennessee. A couple Republicans came to him, said our elections were stolen. He said, you guys are crazy. But he had enough integrity to prove that they were wrong. This guy's a Democrat. He opened up the machines and found fraction magic software. I personally had a conversation with him. I said, how ubiquitous do you think this software? He says, it's everywhere. Fraction magic. Michelle Long Spears another Democrat, ran for county board of commissioners just like you in DeKalb, Georgia. She was third in the primary. There was a runoff for the top two. She was short 3,792 ballots, and the only way she knew that is because she looked at her own precinct where her and her husband both voted for, and it said she got no votes in that precinct. And that gave her cause to open it wide up so that they had to give her a hand count. She ended up winning.
That's your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak today in public comment?
Hi, my name is Connie Renke. I have a handout for you that I'll pass out. ES&S, the fiasco in Venezuela. ES&S supplied Model 100 ballot counting machines through a Madrid-based company called Indra. Note the use of the pagan deity names for elections in Venezuela. It was reported in the Omaha World Herald, whose publisher is John Gottschalk, is one of the directors of ES&S, that the head of Venezuela's National Election Council, Estenil Gonzalez, placed the blame for the technical difficulties during the election on the Nebraska-based ES&S, which is our voting systems. Gonzalez said the firm flagrantly failed to meet its commitments and the failure had destabilized the country, the electoral process. A Venezuelan Air Force jet flew to Omaha to fetch experts to salvage the election. It was reported that more than 6% of the 7,000 voting machines broke down during the Venezuelan election and that there were major technical glitches. ES&S said that the rate of failure in Venezuela election was slightly more than we expected. This is the same thing that's happening in Arizona. The machines all broke down. Maduro regime arrested opposition political leaders and shuts down the news websites and maintains detains journalists. In 2017, Venezuela's Supreme Court filed with Maduro loyalists, taking away the power of the National Assembly, increasing Maduro's control, the president, the man that was elected. The following year, he is reelected overwhelmingly in an election that the coalition of other Western Hemisphere nations says lacked legitimacy. This is our ES&S machines. Media manipulation. The three prongs of media election manipulation are massive coverage of favored candidates, the censorship of all other candidates, including warped public opinion polls for months before the election, phony exit polls done by joint effort of the big TV networks on Election Day, and easily rigged computerized vote counting on Election Day, which makes the exit polls come true. On Election Day, the people are barred from touching or counting their ballots. The election officials are barred from knowing what is in the software program that instructs the computers how to count its votes. So we asked for the CVR and the source code, and these are the reasons why. What are you going to do about our election and illegal manipulation and fraud. The people have uncovered the truth. Which side will you be on? I would recommend you quickly take action and get the cast vote records,
1 minute.
source code, and delay funding of ES&S machines. You have a public meeting coming up to discuss the budget. We want a public hearing where citizens can come forward that can't be at the meetings when they're working. This has to be discussed. I also have a document that's the genesis of America's corrupt computerized election system, and it goes through all the things that have been done with ES&S machines, and it's massive amounts of things that are not right, and started by two men in Omaha, Nebraska, the ES&S, the whole background of the company.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak this morning?
Amber Parker. Have you guys done an investigation on these machines? Have any of you requested for a cast vote record? Quite frankly, this is the wake-up call. I've only been here not even a handful of times. These machines cannot be trusted. Our Secretary of State, even what I understand as our current legislation and how it's written, that if we were to do a recount of any race, what happens? It has to be done the exact same way that the count was done previously. We are in a non-disclosure agreement where if there were modems, any hacking found, we the people could not know that. Our elections have been taken from us. Many of us have turned on our news channels and we've watched Venezuela. How arrogant for any of us to think that can happen in the United States of America, because right now, the building blocks are already here, and that's taking place. It was reported on national news that there was an Omaha Chinese police station, just happened to be headquartered in the same city and state as ES&S. My question, have you guys asked for the cast vote record in Lancaster County? And I'm begging you to stop this funding, because the same people that have access to these machines they don't care about you or your families. Ask yourself, conflicts of interest. Why don't we even bring that up or talk about it? Who owns these machines? It's an LLC. Chuck Hagel has connections with ES&S, or had. I don't know to the present, but he had. There's a lot going on in this state. But focusing on the local level, you guys can be the change. The question is, this is on your shoulders.
And if we're here years to come in freedom, your names will be written in our textbook to show if you didn't step forward of your apathy. And you were one to surrender our elections. We need to stand our grounds. I don't know if any of you know what it's like to lose a loved one at war. I don't know if you know that feeling, and if you do, my heart goes out to you. But remember, there's a reason why they fought for what they did. And look at the people in Venezuela. We're in the summertime. A lot of people working at this time in this meeting, excuse me. But I have a cry in my heart because this is serious. This is not good. Understand what's going on in Arizona. Drug cartels, connections with the election fraud. Why aren't you guys looking at this? This is past the point. This is going to be on your shoulders. And when I say that, because whatever we go through, you're going to go through the same thing. You may think you have power in your negotiations of whatever's going on with whatever businesses you have, money being given to organizations that perhaps you support, but it'll be like that. They put you in positions of power to take it away, and then they put the people in once they have done what they have done. It is by the grace of God that we still have freedom to come forward and to talk to you. It is bad. It is so bad. When you have people coming forward that used to work for government agencies and talking about the corruption taking place here in the United States of America, and you ignore that alarm, and you continue with the distractions,
That's your time. Thank you.
it's on your shoulders.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
My name is George Homer. I have a handout also. I hope it doesn't duplicate what might have been handed in. I come to reiterate what's been said so well by the people ahead of me. Going back to the individual that I fear is guiding so much of what's happening in our elections, and that's the Secretary of State. I don't know if that's filtering down to you, but it's going to end up with you having to make a decision. How hard do you want to look at it in your own right? That doesn't mean maybe where you're going to end up going with it might not be difficult. It could be overridden. That's the way it seems to have been done. Excuse me for my voice this morning. It seems to have been overridden by that individual again on top. He should have had a wake-up call, I believe. This message was taken out in his last election. It was taken out to the state in his competition. If I recall right, there was better than 50% of votes came down against him in the two individuals running against him. New people out of nowhere. You would have thought that might have said something to him. Voter accuracy in Nebraska has gone out. There's 2,000 plus people long time ago who have weighed in on doing things for voter accuracy in Nebraska. I don't believe we're going to be silent about that. And I think the same thing is going to be in your quarters. Have you studied it? That was one of the questions asked here. To what extent have you studied it? Study it, weigh in, and be a counter voice. For heaven's sakes, you may go down and be overridden by the powers to be. You're sitting there, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, we are this morning. In 2018, in the hands the Democrats did not like what they seen. They stepped forward and were very vocal about it. I believe it's Senator Klobuchar Jackson Lee, if those are recognizable names, Kamala Harris, they all were very vocal. The machines are trouble. We feel we're being cheated. You meant the idea of votes it being efficient. They're not efficient. In Arizona, it took them how many days to figure out a way after the votes came in that they would deny Kerry Lake that election. That was stolen so blatantly. America's in trouble if we keep going down this path. We will follow 50 other countries, roughly, in the world. The most recent dramatic one is Brazil. And if you believe or don't believe the work and the dedication that an individual by the name of Mike Lindell has put into this is his fortune. They have studied that. Brazil was stolen by machines. And we can go there too, folks. America can go there, and it'll all be over. If you can't trust the elections, what's the point? We already have, it's well over 60% of the people in this country do believe that the last election in 2020 was fraudulent. Something was fraudulent about it. A lot of them don't understand it, but they're getting it. I think the train's coming down the track in the state of Nebraska. I would challenge our Secretary of State to look around to what's coming at him. It's not going to be for his good reputation in the long run, but I don't think any of us can put our finger totally on why he so adamantly does not want these machines checked. And that's basically what says something to all of us. Thank you. We're supposed to always be signing in?
Yes, please.
I have not done it the last 2 times.
Thank you for always stating your name. Is there anyone else wishing to speak during public comment this morning?
Is there a pen? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. After listening to comments made to you all recently regarding election integrity, lack of accountability in our Lancaster County elections, I've become increasingly concerned week after week that there seems to be very little movement towards any solution to this problem. Let me stop for a moment and give you my name, Amanda Carnes. Sorry, forgot to do that. I've come today to offer a simple solution. A system of checks and balances, really. As you proceed with the budget hearings for each department, I ask that you appropriate funds necessary, whether they're requested or not, to our Lancaster County Election Commission to perform a hand count and tabulation of every ballot for every election going forward. For this next fiscal year, that's one election, the presidential primary of 2024. A hand count was performed in every election in Lancaster County until the early 1990s. And in the interest of restoring the trust of all of your constituents, I think it's time to go back to basics. Please allow me to break down a few quick numbers with the understanding that my information comes from the Lancaster County Election Office staff or the official website from that department itself. Lancaster County has a total of 198 precincts. The city of Lincoln has 175 precincts. So in a city election, where 3-person election boards are often used, the cost that I'm about to detail would be even less, much less. Each precinct operates with one election board, with the exception of a very few large precincts in Lincoln where 2 boards have been deemed necessary. For that reason, I've rounded up the number of operating election boards to 210 during a county-wide election. So 210 election boards, each containing 5 poll workers, 1 inspector, 2 clerks with differing political party affiliations, 2 judges with differing political party affiliations. Across 210 boards, that's 1,050 poll workers. I propose that you appropriate funds to pay each of these poll workers for an additional 2 possible hours on election day for the purpose of not only counting the ballots, which they already do, but for tabulating them as well. Poll workers are compensated at minimum wage, and so 2 additional hours for every poll worker comes out to be $11,025 at a $10.50 current minimum wage. Based on my nearly 2 decades of experience as a poll worker or inspector in the Lancaster County elections, I don't think that 2 additional hours will even be necessary for every poll worker. I'm simply aiming high for the sake of formulating this proposal. If a large precinct has 750 voters cast ballots at the polling place, that means each of the 5 poll workers will need to tabulate 150 ballots at the end of the night. In talking with past ballot counters, this process was completed quickly, and a spreadsheet of the tabulated votes for each candidate was then given to the election office when the paper ballots were returned on election night. In this hand count process, the poll workers of differing political parties ensure fairness and accountability. The inspector would still be returning an accurate number of ballots to the election office because the number of ballots will still need to match the number of voter signatures in the sign-in register at the polling place, and that's standard procedure currently. The hand counts would be recorded by precinct, then by candidate, and will still stand as the official result. In the interest of checks and balances and in utilizing current resources, the ballots will then be tabulated upon arrival to the election office by the ballot counting machines as Lancaster County already has them. If there is a discrepancy then in the 2 tabulations, a hand recount would be performed. We'll have our election results on election night once again. While at first this may sound too costly, please consider the amount of taxpayer dollars Lancaster County has already spent in litigation regarding the 2020 presidential election results alone. While I could not find the exact figure reported specifically anywhere for that particular case, I'm willing to bet that it's more than $11,025 in manpower and time. Also consider a CNN nationwide poll from July of 2022 that states in early 2021, 90% of Democrats said that they were at least somewhat confident in the elections reflected the will of the people, but now just 7% are. Among independents, the share who have at least some confidence has fallen from 54 to 38%. The margin of error on those figures was stated by CNN to be plus or minus 3.3%. I chose that particular source and poll information purposely and simply to illustrate that confidence in elections has not simply been declining for one particular political party. Finally, I realize that the implementation of a hand count may not fall directly to you all, but the funding of it does. Make the budget appropriation now, ahead of the game, and show all the citizens of Lancaster County that this board is committed to restoring integrity, accountability, and accuracy to our elections. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners and everyone. My name is Mary Beth Canning, and I'm a resident of Lincoln. I just want to step back and just kind of state some basic principles, and that is that we're all citizens of a beloved country. We have our laws that we cherish. We have our family members and our history, our family that has served in the military and fought for our country. We don't want to lose our country. We don't want to lose our Constitution, our rights, and that transcends whichever political party we are. And I was raised in a family business. I worked in the banking industry. I did appear before you, commissioners, because I also have a medical background. And we just love our country. And I think if there's issues, you know, I've seen it in the banking industry, if there's a question about an employee, people say, well, this is a great employee, this is a great teller, this is a great manager. They would never do such and such. Okay, we're the management, you are our official representatives. We step back and we say, okay, we'll have an audit. We will address your concerns. If there's nothing to be found, there's nothing to be found, but let's be objective and factual about it. Let's respect our laws. In the financial world, you respect, is there theft or is there not theft? Let's have an objective audit. Let's look at the facts. Let's slow the wheels down and take the time to address the concerns, whether we think they're valid or not, but we will be fair to the people that are bringing the concerns, and we will be objective. I mean, we have very excellent professionals in the audit world. We have excellent statisticians. We have excellent, intelligent people in this country. At a minimum, we should listen to what our opponents are saying. As Abraham Lincoln said, you know, he listened to his opposition. He took the time to listen, and I think it's very fair to just have an audit, and however that works in the political world, but have an audit, delay the decisions, find the facts. I think that's only fair. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak during public comment this morning? Seeing none, we can proceed with the announcements.
Announcements. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a department budget meeting on Tuesday, June 13th, 2023, immediately following the Board of Commissioners meeting held in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, June 15th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 at 9 a.m. and a departmental budget hearing immediately following in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on LNK-TV. LNK-TV is available on Allo Channel 2 and Spectrum Channel 1300. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on YouTube and Facebook. LNK-TV apps are available in Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Last item I have is adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.